this morning. All right, let's start with our sister publication as usual. It says, Obi kicks as the federal government accuses LP presidential candidate running and his running mate of treason. Let me take one or two riders there, and then you can come in. Says allegation, fictitious, malicious campaign of calumny. Lai Mohammed says Atiku, ex-Anambra governor, that's Obi, have no pathway to presidency. I just take those two, and of course the Trump issue, pleading not guilty to 34 felony count charge. Emmanuel, what's your take?
Well, these are big stories, and I think all the newspapers are running. The Nigerian newspapers are all practically running with the Obi, Datti, federal government, debacle, and counter accusation, while the foreign papers are running with Trump. But of course, we have the Trump fever too here. We're catching it because our papers too are reporting on Trump. These are big story. One is historic. The other is, of course, the very normal day-to-day kind of grind that you have here for our stories, which is the fact that the federal government, Lai Mohammed, was somewhere accusing Peter Obi of the LP and his running mate of treason. Treason is such a strong word, and because you know, it attracts the capital punishment, the ultimate punishment. So you be careful how you use it. I think Lai Mohammed was a bit loose in the way he used treason to describe something, because you have to have very clear grounds on why you say someone is guilty of treason. Were they planning to overthrow the system? Were they planning to upturn, you know, the democracy, truncate it the way we have? Are there clear-cut evidence that they are working towards inciting people to go to the street and all of that? Obi himself came out with a very strong, ironclad defense that, look, he has always insisted that his victory is going to come via the courts and not the streets, and that he has actually told his, you know, the obedient people to stay clear of courts, stay clear of the streets. And I think so far the obedient have actually listened to him. So you wonder where all this is coming from. Where is the treason? Who is planning to overthrow governments and all of that? How is it done? Because you know, civilians don't just go take power, you know, take over the seat of government and all of that. So it's a very difficult one. It's just like the charge of interim government it's difficult to actually place your hand on it. Who is planning this interim government? How is it being planned? Who are the plotters? Have they been identified? Are they going to be arrested? So there's a lot of loose talk out there. So when you talk about treasonable felony and all of that, it's not something that was, you know, it was reached at maybe some kind of courtroom or some kind of even legal process of determining who is treasonable, who has committed treason. At this point, you're only latching on to the fact that Obi and Datti are very so strong about saying that they want to reclaim their mandate. But they're saying they want to reclaim their mandate in court. That's what they keep saying. And I wonder how you can place a treason charge on them. But again, it's the federal government. Probably they have their ways of understanding this thing. They're not letting us into their deeper findings. What is there? They can't be crying this foul if they don't know what they're saying. I mean, this is the Minister of Information talking on the world stage that there's cause to worry about treason. So maybe they have to hit us with more evidences or talk to us more and be more transparent in the way they go about it. But for now, the LP is fighting back. I mean, Peter Obi is saying that I didn't call for that and that it's wrong to say that I am trying to overthrow the system.
And how likely are we to see an arrest? I mean, the reps, that's the lower chamber of the National Assembly in Nigeria, condemned the call for interim government. What started as a rumor, you know, was elevated to front pages and major news streams when the secret police in Nigeria confirmed that there were plots to install an interim government, yet we are yet to see an arrest. Are we likely to see any arrest, Emmanuel Bello? And that's looking at the front page of The Punch. It's one of the stories on the front page of The Punch this morning.
Yeah, that's why what is curious about all of this is that you talk about an interim government, and yesterday, like one of the top guns in the military was saying, is that you don't just install an interim government. It's not something you do from the comfort of your bedroom. The president will have to buy into it. So President Buhari will have to actually install an interim government if there's going to be one. That is how interim governments are reached. It's not something that you do from the streets or from the comfort of your bedroom or from two plotters discussing it. So, and you're right, yes, if you know the people talking about it, because at this stage, to be able to have an interim government, it has to go beyond the talk stage, where people are maybe just loosely talking about it. It has to go to the implementation stage, where you will need the president himself to announce an interim government. So what are you going to arrest in this? Is it the people you say you found talking about it? Or do they have a clear path? Have they sold the idea to the president? Is the president even buying into the idea? So there's a whole lot there. So when you call for arrest or this one, or we talk about arrest, sometimes it's difficult to know who is to be arrested. But then you're right, the secret police couldn't have come out, so openly, so brazenly with the talk of interim government if there were no people they identify, or even plots or clear-cut roadmap to how an interim government is going to. So they must have done their homework. So the question to ask, like you're asking, is so what are they doing about it? Everyone has wrongly condemned it. Youth groups, socio-cultural groups, politicians, the House of Reps. When everybody said we don't want the interim government, we just want to see either those court process going through or even a swearing in on May 29th. So the question is, who are the plotters? Where are they? Have they been identified? If they've been identified, have they been arrested? Have this been nipped in the bud? Are we done and clear with that? On top of all that, you have this accusation of treason. Kind of make the whole drama more intense at this period.